I wonder if the members of the press understand that this sort of kabuki theater that they're constantly playing has real world consequences. That when you demonize somebody day in and day out publicly, and then you're nice to them behind closed doors, that when they go out in public, they can get accosted. That obviously brings up the situation that you had eating at a restaurant with your family, where the proprietor of the restaurant basically tossed you out of the restaurant. Maybe you can talk about that a little bit.
Sure. I was in Lexington, Virginia at the Red Hen. I'd had a pretty intense work week. I drove down from D.C. to meet my husband and his extended family at this restaurant. I walk in, I've been there a couple minutes. The owner comes over and asks to speak with me. I think, sure, how nice. She wants to say thanks for visiting her restaurant. What I didn't realize is she actually wanted to kick me out of her restaurant after letting me know she thought I was a horrible person and I didn't belong in their community, and she asked me to leave. So I said, okay. As she was like frantically trying to video me leaving, I whispered to my husband, I've been kicked out. We leave. What a lot of people don't know, and I write about in my book, is the second part, that my husband and I went home and the rest of his family went to a restaurant across the street, and the restaurant owner actually followed them to the second restaurant, gathered a group of their friends and protested and harassed them outside of a second restaurant until one of the members of my family came out and said, look, Sarah's not here. We actually, several of us, voted for Hillary Clinton. We didn't even vote for Donald Trump. Like, go home. You're not helping our cause. And Sarah's actually a pretty nice person. So it'd be like great if we could have dinner with our family. And so they eventually left. But the level of hatred to not only kick me out, but then follow the rest of my family and protest them at a second restaurant where I'm not even present, I think just shows the level of hostility and how out of control the radical left has become.
And it seems like this is now a national problem. Like,
yeah.
You were the first kind of public face of this happening, but you saw people descend on Tucker Carlson's house. You've seen people just eating at restaurants in Washington, D.C., like normally on the street now, and
yeah.
You're seeing Black Lives Matter protesters invade the restaurants, drink people's drinks, shout at them, demand that they hold up their fist in solidarity, and all the rest. You've been around in politics for a while. Where do you think this level of animosity has come from? Because it is something that is elevated. I mean, I remember it being pretty bad during the Bush years with Bush Hitler and Bush no blood for oil and all this. But this is an entirely new level, it seems to me.
I've never seen anything like this. And again, growing up in politics, you're used to the intensity. I was prepared going into the White House that we would be challenged on our policy, on the president's agenda. I knew that it would be difficult and we would have to fight back. I never was prepared for the level of personal attacks that would come. I was the first White House press secretary in the history of our country to require Secret Service. They don't give you that just because people say mean things. It was because there were credible threats against me and my family. That's when it became very difficult, too, as a parent. I know you're a parent, and knowing that your job is directly impacting the safety of your family is really hard to process. And makes it hard to keep fighting. At the same time, it also emboldens you to make sure that you don't let the radical left win, that you don't let them bully you into being afraid to be who you are or ashamed of standing up for what you know to be right. And so while it was difficult, it was important for us as a family to hold our heads high and keep fighting and keep pushing. And so we've tried to do that and tried to make sure our kids know to do the same.
Did you know that every like on this video creates one additional glorious leftist tear? Don't ask me why. That's called science. To take advantage of this amazing opportunity, just hit the like button.